Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. Welcome to our late game tonight. Where are we? It's a nice stadium. I've just realised I don't know where we are. I feel we are in Philadelphia, on the streets of Philadelphia. We are here for Ivory Coast against Ecuador. I hope you're all doing very well this evening. Midnight kickoff, and we're just recovering. Well, not recovering. You know, hopefully we weren't injured. We're just recovering from a very, very good game between Japan and Netherlands. A great second half, 0-0 at half time, but 4 goals in the second half. And I'm hoping it's the theme of the evening. Ivory Coast and Ecuador don't strike me as 0-0s. But, you know, you never know. Ahmad on the bench, Kian, for this game today, so not starting. Please do share the video, by the way. Really appreciate that, all your support on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, on the road to 1.5 million. As always, appreciate that. Toure and Diamonde are better than Ahmad, says Steve. Well, look. Players to watch in this game. I've got to be honest, with regards to Ecuador, it's a bit of a new for me. Apparently, they've not lost in their last 20 games, but you will recognise the likes of Hincapié and Pacho, PSG for Pacho, Hincapié for Arsenal in their back three, and obviously Caicedo in their midfield. But a lot of their players actually do play in different countries. They don't play in Europe, so bit of an unknown. As for Ivory Coast, Yan Diamonde, number 11, player to watch. Toure, number 24, player to watch. These are my 2 players to watch, and they both play for Ivory Coast. Yan Diamonde is wanted by Liverpool, plays for Leipzig. United were looking at him. Very, very good season. 1 season at Leipzig, but very good player. And then Toure, on the left-hand side, has had an amazing season at Hoffenheim this year in the Bundesliga as well. And he is a player that's been looked at by Premier League clubs. So look, we had Bouada last night for Morocco, who, you know, was the breakout player. Again, I think with Diamonde and Toure, I am not going to sit here and say don't sign them because they've played well in the World Cup, because I know both of those players have played fantastically well in the Bundesliga this season and are already being scouted by clubs. So it's a good opportunity for those people who don't know who they are to have a look at them. Another interesting player is Wahi, who's the number 12 for Ivory Coast. He's had a strange time. He signed for Frankfurt. It didn't go very well, and then he went back to France. But I still think he's an interesting profile player. Kessie in the midfield. Obviously, I think Kessie's still under 30. He's just been playing in Saudi, and you'll recognise a few more of their players as well. But players about to come onto the pitch here. Looks busy again. Looks very busy here in Philadelphia. I mean, I know people are talking about ticket prices, but it does seem to be that the crowds are very, very big. Obviously, Ecuador isn't far away from the United States, and there's a lot of yellow in the stands. So talk to me, people. Is there a lot of Ecuadorians in Philadelphia today? Ivory Coast would be more orange. We can see some orange there, but predominantly it's very yellow. Very, very yellow. Wow. Is that a bit of orange in the corner there, or is that just the way the light's shining on the yellow? It does seem to be very Ecuador based. Hazza says, I want to thank you for all the watch-alongs. Loving them. I'm loving it as well. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in, as always. Really appreciate you. Thanks everybody for getting involved. That just reminds me I need to start it up on TikTok as well. Let me just do that. There we go. Okay, yeah, players are out on the pitch. I need to do a little bit of research on some of these players. I do. There we go. Okay, so if I said Ecuador. Yeboah for Ecuador is a 25-year-old striker who is actually playing in Serie A at the moment. And Pepe for Ivory Coast is, I believe, the Pepe who used to play for Arsenal, Nicolas Pepe. It is. He's, I think it is him, isn't it? No, I don't know whether it is. I don't know whether it is. Pepe, number 19 for Ivory Coast. Is that the Pepe that used to play for Arsenal? It is, says Freddie. Thank you very much. Got a few super chats coming in. Thanks everyone who's tuning in on TikTok, by the way. Make sure you give us a follow if you're there. Jack Thwaite says Ivory Coast to win. And he shared the video as well. Thank you very much. Mark, thoughts on Ahmad knotting the starting 11? Personally, I think it's a travesty, says Bailey. And Constantine says, why would you bench Ahmad here? I mean, look, as a United fan, I want to see Ahmad playing, but probably have a little bit more, what do you call it? Probably have a little bit more insight than some, in the sense that Torres had a brilliant season for Hoffenheim, and Diamonde has had a brilliant season for Leipzig. So, yeah. Marcus says that Ecuador are unbeaten in 19 games as well. Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting game. I mean, I'm hoping that it's going to be quite open. Sorry, I've just got a message for there. There we go. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be quite an open game. I hope we'll get some goals. Mango, thanks for joining the members club, and Marcus as well. Appreciate you. Alexi Lalas makes me embarrassed to be from the USA, says Sam. Yeah, but I did like what he said about James Corden. I'm going to need more drink. I'm actually going to use the hydration break to go and get a drink. Yeah. I am. Are you doing Tunisia against Sweden later? No, this is our last. Oh, look at that. Look at that stadium. How can you not love this World Cup? There's something so unique about USA stadiums, because most of them are NFL stadiums. But it just harks back to 1994. This has been... It's such a nostalgia trip for me, and I'm sure some people of my age as well. But trust me, I love the nostalgia. So for you, who are watching it for the first time, you're going to love this in future years. You're going to look back on this World Cup and go, it was so unique. And we're getting to look at it again. I mean, I was in awe of this. I mean, in 1994, I was 14. And I was in awe of this. And it's incredible. And I'm loving the late kickoffs. I'm acclimatized now. I'm loving the stadiums. I'm loving the fact that it's predominantly good weather. I'm loving the fact that the games flow really quickly as well. I think so far, I don't want to jinx it, but so far, the way they're running it has been very, 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 very good. The Rose Bowl was a good one. What happened to the Rose Bowl, John? I'm not up on that, but yeah, let me know. Charlie Cox, thanks for the follow. In fact, I don't need to ask. I'll ask. I'll find out. We have a Rose Bowl in England. It's crap. It's a cricket one. The Rose Bowl is in Pasadena. It's an outdoor athletic stadium located in California. Don't think it gets used for... It's not being used in the World Cup. I don't know what it gets used for now. I don't know. Thanks for your early super chats on YouTube. Please do share the video, everybody. And make sure you're getting involved. Sweden haven't invited Larson. Don't know what that's all about. It's outdated now, says El Rizzi. Michael Oliver injured. God. Yeah, I think Michael Oliver was meant to be the official for this, but he's injured. How do you get injured? Well, he's just a human being, I suppose. Mars is from Pasadena. Thank you, pal. Thoughts on both sets of fans mixed in the stand? Yeah, I mean, we was talking about this in the last game. We're seeing a lot of mixture in the fans in the ground. I don't think we saw that in the Euros. I don't think we'd ever see that in the Euros. And it's quite interesting because, you know, in previous World Cups, especially around England, there's always a lot of concern about hooliganism and stuff like that. So let's hope everybody behaves. Because traditionally football has had a problem with that. So we'll have to wait out. We'll have to see. AOC says, what are your thoughts on Kamada as our second choice, second tier midfielder? Well, I'm hoping it's going to be Fernandes and we still can get a Tchouameni or a Anderson. Well, not an Anderson or a Tonali, but I guess we just have to wait and see. Yeah, Ahmad is on the bench if you are tuning in. No 2 a.m. game. The kickoff times are a little bit all over the place. Sometimes you get like a 9 p.m. Sometimes you get an 8 p.m. Sometimes you get 11 p.m. Sometimes you get a 1 a.m. Sometimes you get a midnight. Sometimes you get a 2 a.m. So, but yeah, player to watch, number 11, Diamonde. A lot of people will be watching him. A lot of Arsenal fans will be, Liverpool fans will be watching him. Sweden, Tunisia prediction. I don't really know much about Tunisia. I'd probably say score draw. Yeah. Right, let's get this party started. Referee's ready to go. Ivory Coast playing in all orange and Ecuador playing in a black top with white shorts. Obviously, normally they'd play in yellow, but a bit of a kit clash. Douay is very good, plays for Strasbourg as well, says Max. Well, look, I think one of the things to be very aware of is that Ivory Coast are unbeaten in 19 games. And it's not Ivory Coast, Ecuador. So let's see how it plays out. Consciousness Human Form says the Rose Bowl is part of UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. Their American football team plays there. So it's like a college place, yeah. Kin says, are you not tired? Mate, I mean, this is an early night. This is. I'm used to doing a 2 a.m. game, so no 2 a.m. game tonight. So I'll be in bed for just after 2, which is quite early. I was watching the bloody basketball at 4:30 this morning. David says, what are your chances on Scotland making... What are the chances of Scotland making the quarterfinal? I think we need to just get through game 1 and 2 of the group stage and then collectively start figuring out what pathways there are, because Robert McCormack was on the stream earlier and did a super chat and said that if Germany and France top their groups, there's a chance they'll meet in the last 16, which just finds it... I don't know how that works. You know, we've got 48 bloody countries. We've got around a 32. And France and Germany could top their group and play themselves in the last 16 before the quarterfinals. That just seems mad to me. So I think that it's hard to say who's going to get where at the moment without knowing how the groups are going. But it's Caicedo with the shot there from outside the box. And Ecuador have started off quite well. I like the kits. I like the kit for Ecuador. I quite like their away kit. Vented says, do you think Croatia will make another deep run? The thing about Croatia is everybody says it now. They're an ageing team. And a lot of those players still play for them. But they're a well-organised team as well, aren't they? So... Look, we'll see what Croatia do against England on Wednesday. I mean, I've got a feeling that might be a score draw as well. Hello makes a great point. With there being so many groups, you're bound to get them meeting early because top your group. Yeah, see what you mean. Ethan, thanks for the follow, and Jovi on TikTok as well, and HT Ek, thank you very much for your follow. I'm not actually wearing socks at the moment in breaking news. One of my most irritating things is wet sock. And I took the dog out for a walk, and when I got back, I poured it some water. It had a drink, some of it spilt over. I walked past the dog bowl and trod in a bit of the water, and I don't know about you, but if I have a bit of wet on my sock, it pisses me off. It's one of my pet hates. I cannot put up with it. I would not get through the day, and even just a little bit of wet. I'm not talking about a drenched sock. Even if I can feel a little bit of wet on the sole of my sock, it really grinds my gears. I cannot stand it. I'd rather need to sneeze for 10 minutes than walk around with a bloody wet sock. So now I'm bare feet. T-Potion says, prove it. I'm not proving it because there are weirdos out there with feet fetishes. So I'm not showing you. Could be a million cards here if the ref gives one early, says Robert McCormack. It has started off very frenetic. Not disorganised, but just high intensity, which is what I was hoping for. But Ecuador are going to be a pleasure to watch tonight because a lot of people have said keep an eye on Ecuador. They're a good side. Good defending there by Doué. But yeah, we can't lose with this because if one of these teams ends up being good, I'd be very happy because they both fall into that sort of underdog category. The group that they're in, by the way, I haven't told you, is the Germany-Curacao group. So I think Ivory Coast play Germany next. They should all make it through because you can get through with 3 points. You can go out with 3 points as well, but 3 points and a high goal difference, you should go through. So the good thing about all of these teams is as long as you beat Curacao by a few goals, you should go through with 3 points, even if you lose your other two with a good goal difference. But third place going through probably means a tough next round, doesn't it? What's your prediction for this, says Seb? Difficult to predict, to be honest, because I don't really know enough about Ecuador. I don't really know enough about Ivory Coast either. I mean, I don't really know a lot about a lot of international teams. I know a lot of the players, but as I said, my two players to watch are Diamonde on the right-hand side for Ivory Coast and Touré on the left-hand side. Both had very good seasons in the Bundesliga and both being looked at by Premier League clubs. And that's Diamonde there, number 11. Touré on the left-hand side is number 24. I haven't missed your super chat, Irish Ryan. I just haven't gone back and done them. Please don't waste your money saying I missed your super chat because I just don't necessarily do them straight away. Because otherwise it'd be a really shit watch along. I sort of go along with what's happening in the game, a little bit of other stuff, and then I'll go back and review them. Dino says, I've been seeing rumours and speculations today that United have opened talks with Barcola. Yeah, I don't know the origin of that, Dino. I've seen it as well, and I don't know where the origin of that story is. I can't see. I don't think PSG even want to sell Barcola, and I certainly don't think that United would be in for him. Kessie, the captain of Ivory Coast. I know him. It's Beyonce's husband, isn't it? I can't remember his bloody name. It's Beyonce's husband. He'd hate to be called that. He'd be going, say my real name. I'm like, I can't remember it, but I know you're Beyonce's husband. I'm more famous than her. He wrote Concrete Jungle Where the Dreams Are Made Of for Alicia Rhymes. I can't think of his bloody name. He'd be fuming. He'd be going mad. Jay-Z, there we go. Genuinely had a... He would hate that. He'd be like, you're doing it to wind me up. I'll be like, no, I haven't. How are you remembering Alicia Keys over me? It is Jay-Z, yes. Thank you very much for that. Irish Ryan says, Oliver got injured from running. Doesn't do much of it in England because games are slow and boring. He's probably bottled it, Irish Ryan, hasn't he? Because the game's got to flow a lot. Is there a secondary ticket market for United games? How would I get tickets if I visited from America? What's the process? I'm not the person to talk about with that, Bailey. If I get tickets, I normally go straight to the club. Sam says, everyone talks about how good Vinicius Jr. and Yamal are. Just go back to 2014 World Cup. Is it just me, or are there so many better players back then? Says Sam. I don't think so. I mean, look, there's a lot of talented players in this World Cup. And to be fair, a lot of them are flair players. And we've not seen a lot of them yet. Thank you for your super chat, Sam. Thanks for the follow on TikTok, Gaz and Kelvin. And Naz. Derek, with a very interesting comment, says Ecuador finished second in South American qualifying. 13 clean sheets, 5 goals conceded in 18 games, but only 14 goals scored. So defensively very solid. Oh, that's not great news, though, is it? I don't want a boring team. Fair play, you've not been beaten for 19 games, but we don't want another bloody Arsenal, do we? Do you think the Ivory Coast 06 team was overrated? That was the team that a lot of people thought might actually... They were definitely the dark horse of that German World Cup, and they didn't do very well. And this is where I'd be worried about Norway a little bit, because that Ivory Coast team did have the likes of Drogba, and this could be a goal. Slip. He's got to score. What a miss. What a miss. That is absolutely crap from Ecuador. I mean, there's a slip at the back. It's Valencia for Ecuador. Hincapié puts the cross in. The centre-back slips. Valencia gets it on his left foot. And he puts it over the bar. I mean, it's such a good chance. And he's put it... I mean, he's not put it massively over the bar. And to be fair, he's got the technique right. He's just hit it too high. He sort of whipped it with his left foot with a bit of curl to put it in the top corner. And he's put it over the bar, but he's got to score there. Massive chance for Ecuador. And he's bloody missed it. J. Bib, Master 5, Brody... Vivek, thanks for the follows on TikToks. He's got to make sure with that, says Dara. Yep. Ecuador have been the better team in this first 10 minutes, though. I've definitely noticed that. Did Yaya Touré play in 2006? I don't know whether he did, because he would have been quite young in 2006. He wouldn't have been in his prime, was he? Would he? Because he was in his prime for City in about 2014. So, I don't know whether... I don't know. How old's Yaya Touré? Yaya Touré. I mean, they definitely had people like Drogba and Kalou. So Yaya Touré's 43. He'd have been 23 in 2006. And he was actually at Monaco then. He hadn't even signed for Barcelona, so he wouldn't have been in his prime then. But the problem with the Ivory Coast back in 2006 was, yes, they had people like Didier Drogba. However, they probably had 3 or 4 good players and the rest of them weren't that good. True Brandon says, if Ecuador had a better attack, they could actually win the World Cup. Oh my God. Oh my God. I don't know whether to tell you what I've just seen. It's not what you want to see. And I don't know why people do it. There was actually a Mexican wave going around in the background there. Yeah, I mean, to the unconverted, as traditional football fans, we take the Mexican wave as a sign of a shit game. And you certainly don't do it in the first 12 minutes. They're doing it again. No, they're not. I think they were standing up for a shot, actually. Zamora, Yaboa Zamora there with the shot for Ecuador. They're definitely on top. Croat says, what's your biggest bracket buster prediction? Brazil out before the quarterfinals. Matt Jones says, I want an apology to us Australian fans for doubting us like everyone else. I didn't bloody doubt you. I said, I before I went off air last night, I said, I'm predicting a score draw between Australia and Turkey. Fair play, I got it wrong, but I didn't say you'd lose. Mark Holder says Ashcroft, New York. Let us know where you're watching from, everybody. It's a bit of a novelty tonight. Normally, no 2 o'clock game tonight. For me, there is a 3 o'clock game if you want to stay up and watch it tonight. You've got Sweden against Tunisia at 3 a.m., which I'm not doing. And next, God, tomorrow's even better. Saudi Arabia against Uruguay kicks off at 11, so we'll be done by 1 a.m. I'm not doing Iran New Zealand at 2. Our next early in the morning game is Argentina Algeria in the early hours of Wednesday at 2 a.m. I'm looking forward to England Croatia. Well, I'll tell you what games are you looking forward to this week? Let's play that game. Hold on. Here's Diamonde on the wing. People will be... Oh, good block. Ecuador, get rid of it. Ivory Coast really need to use their wingers. These are the threat. And here he is, Diamonde. Oh, he's got it stuck under his feet. Be a lot of Liverpool fans taking a look at Diamonde saying, what's the big idea? What's it all about? Very technically good, powerful, quick. But whilst I think Ecuador are better than Ivory Coast in this first 15 minutes, Ivory Coast are giving a good account of themselves. Ultimate Sid says, I don't want Diamonde. Who do you want? Bailey says, did you know the wave actually generated from Oakland Athletics and Crazy George in the 1980s? Looking up, it's actually wild. And bit of a chance there for Ivory Coast. And it was Torre who wants a corner. Now, this is a player to keep an eye on as well. He plays on the left-hand side. Gets it. Took it first time. It was a good... Tell you what, that was a very good effort to take that first time. It wasn't far at all. It was a brilliant save. I tell you what, the technique from Torre there. He's one of my players to watch as well. I can't remember what his name is. What it's called, Torre. I can't remember what his first name is. I think it begins with a B. Bazumana Torre. He's only 20 years of age. He was only 20 in March. He took that very well. He's a player to watch as well. Right, Diamonde getting a bit of space here on the right-hand side. Wet says, I think the tempo of this game has been the best so far. Well, this is what I was hoping for. I was hoping that they'd play at a good tempo, these two teams, because the heat's not going to be a problem for either of them, are they? You know, South American team against an African team. Lovely feet. Diamonde! Oh, that should have been a goal. That should have been a goal. And Liverpool fans, maybe that's what you'll be looking at. If you get him, that creativity as well. He's not just a goal scorer, goal scoring winger. He can create, and it was Wahi who really should have done better. 2 big chances in the first 17 minutes here. One for Ecuador. Eno Valencia really should have scored, and then a good chance for Wahi there. He's done him. Diamonde's done Hincape. Both wingers coming alive here for Ivory Coast. Our players to watch, Diamonde and Toure for Ivory Coast. Wahi should do better there. He just doesn't grab hold of it at all, does he? Doesn't get connection. What time is it in Philadelphia? Philadelphia is 7:22. So, East Coast, innit? 5 hours behind. 5 hours behind. And weather in Philadelphia is 29 degrees at the moment. Corner to Ivory Coast, headed away. Quite an equal game though. Ooh. Thunderstorm watch. What's this all about? Severe thunderstorm watch. Does anybody know what part of Philadelphia we're in? Because there is actually severe thunderstorming reports in Philadelphia. Any knowledgeable geographical people who know what area of Philadelphia this stadium's in? Three watch-alongs in a row, Mark. I didn't do the Germany one. I did United stand at 8. I'm loving Ivory Coast's football so far, says Hamza. Yeah, they move the ball around really well. I really hope in this World Cup we get a load of teams that play, you know, beyond the favourites, like the Germanys and the Brazils and the Frances. I hope we get a few teams like Morocco, Ecuador, Ivory Coast, Japan, who really can mix it up and hold their own. I'd love to see it. Because then the footballing world changes. Storm reports are for after the game. Thank you very much. Thank you for everybody for that. There are severe thunderstorm reports, but so guys, you can see the rain at England's camp in Kansas. Bloody hell. That was a lot of rain. Hazza and Elliot, thanks for the follows on TikTok. And Rio as well. Declan wants Ecuador to win because of Hincape. Here he is again. Diamonde, brilliant play. He's playing very well. Diamonde, he's got the ball again. He has come alive in the last few minutes. Well, he is, to be fair, one of those players that Leipzig are be very happy with because he's just boosting his price. Tesk says, I'm looking forward to seeing Nusa and Scheidrup. I don't know whether Scheidrup will start from Norway, though, will he? He Benfica winger, very good player. But they've also got Bob. So I don't know who they'll start. Beardy Bruce Lee Central says Yan Diamonde price up to £130 million now. Where's Rocky Bilbao? We are in Philadelphia, yes, Stardust. we'll go through the schedule again at half time. I get confused as to who's playing when. Spain are tomorrow, Belgium are tomorrow, and Uruguay are tomorrow. Today, actually, because it's gone midnight, isn't it? You know what I mean. Oh, mistake by Ivory Coast again. Oh, he's hit the Denver. He's hit the Denver. He's hit the Denver bar. It was a lovely shot, and he's hit the bar. I tell you what, this is a great game of football because it's very much you have a go, we'll have a go. Ivory Coast had a good 5 minutes there. Ecuador, Caicedo, good tackle, shot wide. I'd like to see this shot again. I think it was Yeboah for Ivory Coast. No, it was Minder. Well, show us it again then. Lovely kit, Ecuador. Look at that. Look at that stadium. This is the bloody World Cup. Look at it. The spectacle. You say what you like about the USA, but they know how to put on a show. Who plays at this ground? Oh, piece of piss. I'd be 90% sure that this is where the Philadelphia Eagles play because it's Philadelphia. Hydration break incoming. We haven't seen a replay of the shot that hit the bar, which is a bit disappointing. Maybe they'll show us it now. I mean, it's a hydration break, so maybe show us that. Minder is 23. Plays in. He plays in the US of A. No, he doesn't. He plays in Brazil. Here he is. Good feet. He's a bit unlucky there. Look at it. He does really well. It wasn't Minder. It was Yeboah. I'm shouting about the wrong player. Lovely kit, Ecuador, though, isn't it? He's very unlucky there. He's beat the keeper. All ends up. Yeboah. It's not bloody Tony Yeboah. No, I mean, he was playing about 30 years ago. His name is John Yeboah Zamora, and he plays for Venezia in Serie A. He's got 3 goals in 22 games for Ecuador and 11 goals in 67 games for Venezia. He's 25. Sweden Tunisia is on at 3 a.m. Yeah, you've been done a little bit, Sweden, because you're a bit like Turkey. You've got a lot of games on. Well, I don't think you have actually. You've got, well, you're starting off with a bad one, 3 a.m. Then you've got Netherlands at 6 o'clock on Saturday, and then you've got midnight Japan. I'll watch. We'll do both those Sweden games. I'm not doing this one because I'm not staying up till 3 a.m. But I'll definitely do Netherlands, Sweden, and I'll definitely do Japan, Sweden. I think they'll be good games. Graham Potter. Potter. And Ronnie Pickering. Yeah, don't want no nil-nils. Don't want no nil-nils. No one's staying up to watch Sweden Tunisia. They will, mate. I know people who are watching all the games. Oh, look at this stadium. Look how high they are as well, walking around. You see, that's not AI. I'll tell you what, I really would love to go to some of these stadiums at some point. Yeah, they're having a good time. Forgot what I was going to do. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Thanks everyone who's tuning in on TikTok, by the way. Appreciate you. AI art content creator says good game end to end. Noosa will be on the left and Bob on the right. Sorry, let me just catch up on some of these. That was from Mr. Tom. What do you think of... I don't know who that is, history. Favourite Rocky film? I mean, look, to be honest with you, Rocky 2 is probably the best. But I do like Rocky 4. I just like the music. I've always liked Rocky 4. I like the music and I like the story. I reckon we might see a red card in this match. Well, Fofana's just had a yellow card, Denise. Robert says, I can't wait for the Hannibal Mabry masterclass for Tunisia. Sir Autism says, they refuse to give cards this tournament, and I love it. Stego says, look out for Ordonez, great centre-back currently at Bruges, says Steg. Thoughts on Amrim to AC Milan, says the Beast. I mean, it's almost the Italian Man United job, isn't it, really? Because AC Milan are a little bit like Man United. They're a massive club who just can't get back. What's the scheduled watch-alongs this week, says Rio. I will do that at half-time. What do you think of the stadiums? I bloody love them. Bad. I love them. And Caitlin says, England's 2002 squad featured the likes of Beckham, Scholes, Ferdinand, Owen, Heskey, Hargreaves, Cole, Seaman, Brown, Keown. How did they not do it? You could, well, to be honest, you could argue that the 2006 squad was even better than that, Caitlin, because you had Rooney and Owen, didn't you then? And John Terry and Gerrard and Lampard. Good play by Ecuador. I think this game has been very, very fast-paced, and it could do with a goal. Oh, he's hit the bar again! He's hit the fucking damper again! How's he done that again? We need a goal. Good play by Ecuador. They're still on the attack. Oh, you can't believe it. And another shot wide. Brandon says, do you think the German side will struggle against Ivory Coast and Ecuador? I think it'll be a very good game. I think it'll be a very good game. Those will be very good games. But he's got to score this one. I mean, to be fair, that was Minda, who plays in Brazil, who hit the bar that time. The front three for Ecuador all should have scored. Valencia had a great chance in the first 10. Yeboah, to be fair, his shot hit the bar was a bloody good shot. He was a bit unlucky. But Minda should have scored as well. But the good thing for Ecuador is that everyone in their front three has had a really good chance in this first half an hour. The bad thing is none of them have took it. Meme says this is going to be a good game. It has. Well, I think this is an example of how 0-0 between Netherlands and Japan was a bit of a crap first half. 0-0 between Ivory Coast and Ecuador has been a really good first half. Sam says it's simple why England didn't do it. Look at Brazil and France's squad back then. We probably should have won the World Cup in 2002. Brazil were down to 10 men for a long proportion of that second half, and we just didn't do anything. Well, it's all Ecuador at the moment, but there was a period where Ivory Coast had a good 5 minutes, so it's ebb and flow at the moment. But I tell you what, Ivory Coast do pass the ball around really well. That's going to be a free kick. No, he's not going to give it. He says, no, I'm not going to give it. Thanks for all those super chats, by the way. I think I've caught up on those. Still got nearly 9,000 watching here. And it is midnight on going into a Monday morning. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're on YouTube, by the way. We're on the road to 1.5 million. It'd be amazing to hit that during the World Cup. So please click and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, if you're part of the channel. What was I going to say? We're doing a lot of watch-alongs over the World Cup. And I'll tell you what games we're doing over the next few days at half-time. Here's Yan Diamonde with a bit more space. Lays it off to Kessie. Ridiculous shot. Not Kessie. Fofana. He thinks he's playing bloody rugby. Absolute shite. Sorry, I love my football, and some things piss me off. And there was a shot from a Japan player earlier on who did exactly the same. Stupid shot, I call it. Waste of my time. Absolute waste of time. I mean, I don't even know what he was trying to do because there's no power on it. It was a balloon shot. Ecuador picking it up again. Tell you what, no surprises that Ecuador are technically very good. South American team, you'd expect that. I think Colombia are going to be an interesting team as well. I think they play last. So, still got a few exciting teams to look at. Belgium tomorrow. A few people speak highly about them. Obviously Spain, Portugal, England, France, Uruguay, Argentina, Colombia, Senegal. France-Senegal is going to be a good game. A lot of people have said to me they think Senegal are going to beat France. France are a funny team though. Like, I've seen brilliant France's teams. I've seen brilliant French teams come to the World Cup and flop. Just made a cappuccino. Need to study and watch, says Hamza. I've had my coffee. I had it before the last one, and that'll keep me going for a few hours. So I'm in the danger zone to have a coffee now because I'll be in bed hopefully in about 2 hours, and the coffee will still be there. The caffeine will still be doing its thing. What do I think about Diamonde? Well, here he is, Abu. Cuts it back. You've got to score, mate. You've got to hit that first time. Why is he not hitting that first time? Bloody Pepe again, innit? That's why you flopped to Arsenal, mate. How do you not hit that first time? Oh, that's why you flopped. Diamonde's put that on a bloody plate. He has to hit that first time. Sam says Colombia have got the best kit of the tournament. Well, see what I mean? Ivory Coast having their bit now. It has been sort of like end to end. Rex says defensively Ecuador are even better than Arsenal. And yet, Ivory Coast have had 2 really good chances. Pepe there, Wahi a few minutes ago. Ecuador have had 3 good chances. I mean, this game should not be 0-0. Alexi says, I'm staying in New York. If you are in New York, I know a few people are in New York and they've said to me it's mad busy. Like Christmas busy. They said it's absolutely chaotically busy. So if you are in New York at the moment, let us know what it's like. I mean, New York's always busy, but there's levels of busy. I mean, to be fair, the Knicks have just won the NBA. Is it NBA? Yeah, and Brazil were there yesterday. Labugi says, I'm listening to you from Times Square. What, you're actually sat in Times Square with your phone? Mad. Let us know where you're watching from, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Leopold and Matty Lee and Ra R. Yates, thanks for your follows on TikTok, and Reese as well. Jess says, I am in New York and it is crazy. There's a lot of people in New York at the moment. I mean, I don't think I've ever known so many people that are in New York at the moment. It's mad. And obviously, a lot of the people I know are football people, but Thanks for your super chat, New Camping Man. Caden, thanks for the follow. Yellow card. Kessie. I think that means both Ivory Coast midfielders have been booked now. Yeah, they have, because Kessie's just been booked. Somebody did predict a red card. I don't know whether that's a yellow for me. I think that's a bit of a harsh yellow card. A foul will do. Rylan says, I'm living in New York. It's crazy everywhere and hot as hell. There's also an insane amount of Scotland fans, even though they don't have a game here. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Because they don't have a game in New York. Well, it's... I wonder, there must be a website somewhere. I'm just having a quick look here. Okay. Another foul there on Caicedo. I don't think he's going to book him though. Switzerland are playing Bosnia in the SoFi Stadium. I'd be interested to see if that gets filled up. Brazil are playing in Philadelphia on the 19th. So that will be here, won't it? Is this the Lincoln Financial Field? So I think Brazil are here on the 19th. He did book him as well. That's three Ivory Coast players booked. This is a European referee as well. I've seen him in the Champions League. Lord Harkey says, I'm in Bath, Somerset. I've watched your channel for a while. Thanks for making it a community, making me want to keep coming back to watch the football with someone. Cheers, mate. Well, that's exactly what we're all about. So I'm very happy to hear that. We are the biggest, actually, football community. And I'm very proud of what we've built. And I'm loving the company on these World Cup games. So, because if I didn't do this, I'd be sat in my living room on my own. So I'm grateful for the company. What transfer you reckon caused market value inflation? Many will say Neymar to PSG, but I think Enzo to Chelsea started a trend and the rest followed. It's not a bad shout. I think inflation happens when players are overpriced. I don't think people have a problem if you pay a large amount of money for a Neymar or an Mbappe. It's when you pay £100 million for Jack Grealish that those are the deals that inflate the market. It's when you... I'm not saying Jack Grealish is a bad player. I'm just saying if you set that... Harry Maguire for £80 million is another example. Harry Maguire's not a bad player, but he's not an £80 million centre-back. And Jack Grealish is not a £100 million midfielder, attacking midfielder. That's what inflates the market. It's when a player goes for a lot more than they're worth. And then other clubs say, well, they went for that, so we want that. Looks like this might be 0-0 at half-time, which is incredible because it's been a very, very good game of football. Caicedo, lovely little ball out wide. Rubble says, I'm joining from Buffalo, New York, avoiding my local for a drink tonight, early work morning. Thank you and the community for the company. Thank you, Rubble. Buffalo's a place I really want to go to because the climate there fascinates me. It basically snows... I can't remember, I read it. You can get snow in April and snow... I think you might get it in May. But also, the Bills are my favourite NFL team at the moment. I'm fine with the card. Helps Ahmad come on, says Just Pasty. Have you ever been to Tamworth? Says Darren. I've been to Tamworth loads, not that far away. Paul Gower, thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for the follow, Nick and Vinny. Vinny on TikTok. Vinny. Hey, Vinny. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, I was just having a look at some games. Yeah, so Brazil are playing here, their next game against Haiti. Scotland, I don't know why there's loads of fans in New York, because they're playing Boston, Miami, and Atlanta. No, Miami and Gillette Stadium again. So 2 games in Boston and 1 in Miami. United States are playing 2 games in the SoFi. Yeah, they're playing Turkey there. And I think they're playing Seattle for their other one. Germany will play Ecuador in the MetLife in New York. Game week 3, fixture 3. I liked the stadium that Germany played in earlier in Houston. I thought that was a good one. I think Netherlands are playing Sweden there on Saturday. Ecuador on the attack. Just about to hit half time here. I think it is going to be 0-0 at half time. Ivory Coast will bring that away. France are in the MetLife as well. See what I mean? There's going to be a lot of people in New York because Brazil have just played there. France are going to play there. Who else did I say is going to play there? Ecuador. They'll bring loads. England have got a game there. So, a lot of people. Dino says, I sent a £5 super chat a while ago and you missed it. I asked a question about Hall going to United and do you think it would be a bad move because of Carrick favouritism? I mean, I don't really want to talk about United, Dino, on a World Cup watch along, if I'm being completely honest about it. But to answer your super chats, I don't really worry about favouritism because Luke Shaw's not a left back anymore. He's a left centre back playing at left back, and I don't think Carrick would want to lose his job on favouritism. So I live in hope that if we did buy Lewis Hall, Luke Shaw would be sitting on the bench every week. Kenzo says, how are you doing? Sorry I left early last night. Mate, it was probably about 2 o'clock in the morning. There's no problem with that. Here's Diamonde. 4 minutes added on. Still a bit of time. Does brilliantly to get past Hincape and wins a corner. I've got to say, Hincape's had the run around tonight against Diamonde. He's done very well against him. New Camping Man, thanks for your super chat. He says, I find African teams are exciting, and why is the grass always green there every stadium? They've got really green grass. I don't quite get that, but it's cool. I mean, the Premier League, the grass is green as well, and the Bundesliga. I don't know, I feel like I might be missing something there. DJ Andy and David Lerner, thanks for your follows on TikTok. Nothing happens with the corner. 48 teams means more games, but with third place teams advancing, group matches aren't really do or die anymore. Big teams get a safety net. No upsets, says Keystone. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. I've actually had this conversation with people. So if it goes wrong, you can still go out because you could finish 4th. So there is jeopardy. And if it goes wrong and you finish 3rd with a bad goal difference or low points, you will go out as well because not every third place team goes through. And also, if you finish 3rd, you are going to get a first place team as well. So as much as I do agree with you, there's more opportunities for teams to get through. The jeopardy is you're going to get a really shit draw if you finish 3rd and probably get knocked out. Whereas if you finish in the top 1 or 2, you'll have a better pathway. Nick P says, I actually love the hydration breaks now. After a few days of really boring pundits moaning about them, I've changed my mind. I'm a rebel like that. I don't mind them. I would never want them in the Premier League, but I don't mind them. More Sunderland players in the World Cup than Madrid players, says Zeno. Really? Theo says, hi Mark, I can't wait for Sweden versus Tunisia. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, sorry for anybody who's a Swedish fan. Obviously the World Cup is for everybody unless you're Italian. And that's the second time tonight. Apologies. But I'm not staying up to do a 3 a.m. game. I will do the next 2 Sweden games, but I'm not doing this one. I want to watch Austria, but I'm not watching Austria at 5 a.m. play whoever they're playing. Half time anyway here. Thank you everybody very much for being part of the show as always. I've got a few super chats to catch up on here. Sam says, might be a hot take, but this is probably one of Croatia's last World Cups as all their best players are too old. This was probably their golden generation. They did get to a final though, didn't they, in 2018, because they beat England in the semis. I mean, that's pretty... I know you'd want to win it, but I still think a World Cup final for Croatia is very, very good. What's your thoughts on Yaya Toure manager debut at Bratislava, says Joel? Don't really have any, but don't even, hopefully he does well. Portugal and England both early on Wednesday, says Ian O'Connell. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. And in fact, I think after the England game, I'll go through it in a minute, but I don't think I'm doing a watch-along later on that day as well. Rex says, as an Argentinian fan, if Ecuador scores first, they'll create the wall of China. Very defensive, apparently. History obviously says, are you doing the Panini sticker book this year? We are. We're never going to bloody complete it, considering a normal sticker book had 32 teams in it and he now got 48. I mean, Panini are laughing. We need 2 fun officers en route. Wave spotted, says City of Northville. Thank you very much for that. Let me just catch up on some of these. Hamza says it's in Pennsylvania, the ground. Where's Rocky? Love that. What's the scheduled watch-alongs this week we're going to do? Nick loves the hydration breaks. Rib TV says Ecuador number 15 putting some nice plays together. Ecuador number 15 is Viti or Vite. Thanks for that. Thanks for the follows, Max and Adam on TikTok. Zeno, thank you. Colombia have the best kits. Ryland was living in New York. Lord Harkey's in Bath. I have been to Tamworth. Done that there. Rubble was in Buffalo. Buffalo in the winter is like Antarctica, says Daryl. Joel says, I saw Arsenal versus Bournemouth last year in LA, 40,000 Gunners. History, obviously, I've been through them. I don't think I missed 3 of yours. I only saw 1. Thank you, Dino. Thank you to Kenzo. K-Stone made that point that we covered. Favourite film from the 80s, says Anchovy. I mean, there's too many. I love Die Hard. I actually like Top Gun. There's loads of great films from the 80s. I liked like Commando and Rocky 4. Yeah, that was sort of my. And also, I mean, in the 80s, I was like aged between 1 and 10, but it was absolutely acceptable to watch an 18 at 9. We just did. You'd go into primary school and you'd say, did you watch Aliens last night? We just did. It was fine. Andy says, appreciate your work, Mark. It's a Spain versus England final for me, but I love how you can make cases for at least 6 people to win it this year. Oh, yeah, Andy, unless we see somebody absolutely come out and own it in the sense of, you know, and it could happen. You know, I've been impressed with Ecuador. I've been impressed with Ivory Coast. I thought, I think tonight, for me, what are we, day 4 of this World Cup? Tonight, I think we've really starting to settle into it. You know, I thought Netherlands, Japan were both very, very good. And I think Ecuador and Ivory Coast have been very good as well. And to be honest, you know, some of the games that we've seen so far, Paraguay were poor. Curacao were poor. Qatar, Switzerland was a bit of a shit game. I think the last 2 games we've seen have been very good. And it bodes well. You know, fantastic stadia. The games are flowing. And as I said, I think this is quite a unique World Cup where sometimes the group stage is better than the knockout stage. But I think the knockout stages will be very good because everybody will be warmed up. Rank your top 5 films, Mark. Oh, I mean, I want to go through the schedule. It is a World Cup watch-along, but I would always put Heat in there. I would always put Jaws in there. I would always put Godfather in there. I do like The Departed as well. And probably Free Willy. Stand by me, says Mark Holder. Thank you very much. Okay, right. Let's just have a quick look because we may as well utilise what we have. Let's have a quick look at the stats at half-time. Unbelievable that this game is 0-0. Get Ahmad on. He'll win it for Ivory Coast. I am very biased as a United fan. But, no, absolutely incredible that this game is 0-0. It's actually been I think it's been one of the better games of the World Cup so far. This is how the stats are looking. So, more or less 50-50. 6 shots each, only 1 on target. Maybe that's the issue. We've had some very good chances, but no one's really put them on target. That probably tells you the problem. The shooting's been a bit shit. That was a great chance. Good shot by Toure there. They're just showing the chances back now. But I definitely think 3 chances each, really. That was a great save by the goalkeeper as well. Right, let me get back to my chat. Thanks everyone who's watching on TikTok. Thanks for all your follows as well. Rex has just given us a follow and sent some roses. Ryan White, thank you as well. United's a challenge for the league next season, says Connor. I don't really want to talk about United. I want to talk about the World Cup, but we shouldn't be. We won't be challenging for the league next season. I don't think so. Scotty says, what's the schedule? That's what I needed to do. So, obviously, we're doing a lot of watch-alongs. Get involved with the community. A lot of these games are at unsociable hours, so it's nice to watch them together. So, what is our run of games over the next couple of days? So, Sweden are playing Tunisia at 3 a.m. I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. So good luck if you are. We will do the next 2 Sweden games because I do want to watch everybody, but I'm not doing a 3 a.m. game. Tomorrow at 5 o'clock UK time in the afternoon, we are doing Spain against Cape Verde. We will be live for that one. 8 o'clock, we're doing Belgium against Egypt. Which I think will be an interesting game. Again, Egypt are a team that could be quite decent, and Belgium are a little bit of an unknown. So Belgium against Egypt at 8. And then at 11 p.m, it's Saudi Arabia against Uruguay. So 3 watch-alongs tomorrow for you. Tuesday, there is an early hour game again, Iran against New Zealand at 2 a.m. I'm definitely not doing that. And then on Tuesday evening, the first game is at 8 o'clock. France against Senegal. And then we're doing Iraq against Norway at 11. And then we're doing Argentina against Algeria at 2. So Tuesday is looking very good. No early kickoff, but France at 8 against Senegal. Iraq against Norway at 11. and then Argentina against Algeria at 2 a.m. And if you're mad or Austrian or Jordanian, you can watch Austria play Jordan at 5 a.m., which I'm not doing. And then we're into Wednesday, which again is a good one because it's Portugal at 6 against Congo, Democratic Republic, and then England, Angleterre. It's coming home against Croatia at 9 o'clock. There is Ghana against Panama at midnight and Uzbekistan against Colombia, which completes this round of great Game 1 games. I'm not going to be doing those because I'll be having a... That'll be a nice early finish, actually, because I can have a couple of drinks and do a match reaction. And, yeah, looking forward to it. So that's our next few games. I've took you through to Wednesday. So, effectively, we've got 3 watch-alongs tomorrow. Spain's game, Belgium game, and Uruguay's game. And then the same again on Tuesday. France, Senegal, Norway, Iraq, and then Argentina. And then Wednesday, it's England. Thanks for your follow, Roy and Anjam and Lockie and Memphis. I am not doing Sweden against Tunisia. I feel like a lot of people want me to do that, but I'm not. What I will say is I'll guarantee you it's probably going to be a very good game. Tay Min says, going into this World Cup, which non-English player do you wish was in the England team? Elise Musiala had a chance to represent England. I think Elise, for me, is arguably a player that would walk into that England team in a position where there's not a lot of weaknesses in that England team. There are upgrades, but yeah, Elise would be good. Dylan says, missed my chat, Mark. I don't think I did. I don't know whether some of your chats just aren't actually showing up because I've been through them. And oh no, Dylan, here we are. I think there's some of them just get... See, there's one from Mickey here as well. Goldbridge to New York City for England-Panama game. If someone wants to fly me out, I'll do it. Dylan said, I'm a rugby fan. Your content got me into football weirdly to support Man City, though, and Rangers from Scotland. How far do you think we can get? Oh, you're from Scotland. I was trying to figure out there. It was like decoding a quiz, but you did say you're from Scotland. I think Scotland will get out of the group. It then depends where you land because Morocco look good. Brazil look good. So if Scotland finish third, you'll probably get a difficult last of 32 game. So I would say at the moment, Scotland will go out in the last 32. But let's see what you do against Morocco and Brazil, because if you can get a result against one of them, you probably won't finish third, and then you might get past the round of 32. So it's too early to say about Scotland, but minimum last 32, I would say at the moment. Ryan Key says this game has been fire. It's been brilliant. I mean, look, I always say this. People say 0-0's boring. You can have a crap 2-2 and you can have an amazing 0-0. And this game has been very, very good. Denise says you're spoiling us. Thank you very much. Please do subscribe. And CJC says favourite World Cup memory from your childhood. I loved Italia 90. Absolutely loved Italia 90. Cheel on TikTok says, what do you think about pigeons? I can't bloody stand them. I cannot stand them. They get on my tits. Especially in the summer when they sit in trees cooing. What are you doing? I mean, I suppose they are thick animals, but I can't stand them. If you're on YouTube, we're on the road to 483,000, which is the road to 1.5 million. We will get there. It'll be a great achievement. So please click and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And if you have subscribed, click and share the video, because YouTube's doing some weird shit with the search terms. I searched Netherlands, Japan earlier on. We didn't even rank. So God knows what's going on with the... thing. So please do share the video. That's appreciated. I need to get myself a drink in a minute. Who do you think is going to win the game? I don't know. I don't know, because they both look dangerous and they both had chances. It's one of those games, isn't it? I feel like Ecuador, if they score first, as people said, it could be problematic. But they have played... Yeah, it could go either way, this. Tempted to say draw. Sorry, I've just lost the live chat there. Chael, thanks for the follow on TikTok. Let me just get this back. What do you think about the BBC studio? I'd say it's like this. And look, it is what it is, right? But so we've got 2 broadcasting stations who are covering the World Cup in the UK. So, you know, if you're in the United States, you've got CBS or Fox, and if you're in South Africa, I think it's SuperSport, etc. Right? So we've got ITV and the BBC, and they share the World Cup games, right? ITV have got presenters and ex-players and pundits, and BBC have it as well. They split the World Cup games. So at the moment, it's Quinton Fortune, Ellen White, and Mark Chapman talking at half-time. And behind them is New York, but it's a green screen. They're projecting onto a green screen, and you can tell. On ITV, they actually have got an open roof setup where the background is the financial district of New York, the Brooklyn Bridge, and the Statue of Liberty. So it's a mismatch. In effect, ITV have got a 10 out of 10 stunner, and they're on a date with them, and they're about to, they're married to them. And BBC have got a blow-up doll. And that's just the truth. It is. ITV have got an amazing reality, and the BBC have got a blow-up doll. It's just what it is. Unfortunately for the BBC, they are funded by license fee, whereas ITV are funded by advertising. And in the modern world, I suppose the license fee payer would say, why are they flying out to New York when they can do it in Salford? And then they do it in Salford and they go, oh, it's shit. So I have sympathy with the BBC, because I think they've obviously saved a lot of money by not going out to there, but they've ended up with a blow-up doll, let's be honest. Because the ITV is a 10 out of 10 stunner. It's absolutely incredible. ITV Studio is Man City and BBC One is Man United. No, it's not. Suck. I would say ITV Studio is Real Madrid and the BBC Studio is Real Betis. Maybe not. Right, let's get this started. I am just going to shoot and get myself a quick drink. Hopefully I won't miss a goal. There's definitely no problems with tickets here. I mean, this is a sellout. Absolute sellout. Burnt Banana says, do you think Haiti are winning the World Cup? Why do you do this to yourself, Mark? 2 nights on the bounce, says William. Why do we do what? Mate, it's more than 2 nights on the bounce. My new bet, I'm working to a New York time now. I don't go to bed before 2 a.m. for the next month. Ali says, I can't wait for Iraq to play. Are they any good? Apologies, sorry. Somebody just said it in the chat. You're absolutely spot on. It wasn't Quinton Fortune, it's Benny McCarthy. Former Blackburn striker and Manchester United striker coach with Ten Hag. Daniel says, why do you want England to win the World Cup if you're from Nottingham? Hilarious. Adam Phipps says, what do you think about the stadiums? Are they better than the British stadiums? I think the American stadiums are impressive, and I think I think the Azteca is impressive, and you know, from what I've seen of the Canadian stadiums, they're impressive. This is a World Cup. This is the whole point of a World Cup. I mean, the stadiums in Qatar were impressive, but what you get with your European stadiums or your English stadiums is, this is Liverpool's ground. It's Anfield. This is Old Trafford. You get that their football grounds, their, you know, that's their heritage, that's their personality. So it's not, for me, it's not about what's better, it's about what you prefer. But I think for a World Cup, these are great. Lovely play by Ecuador here. They really do move the ball around really well. Hincapié down the left-hand side. It's an interesting cross, but the keeper gets hold of it. Iraq have got 2 players who were born in Norway. It's funny. I was watching Qatar against Switzerland, and I can't remember who the other players were, but they had a player called Santos, and then they had another player, and I was like, so I suppose it's like, I suppose like what somebody was saying about, who was talking about it earlier? It must have been the Japan, it was the Netherlands game, yeah. People were saying, well, Van Dijk and another player, they're actually, you know, they weren't saying they weren't Dutch, they were saying like their mum and dad are from whatever. And that's what international football is now, isn't it? It's the world is just so transient that I can't believe people have a problem with it. And actually it's been happening in English rugby and cricket for all my life. You know, we used to have cricketers like Alan Lamb, who was South African, Kevin Peterson, South African, like actually born in South Africa and lived most of their life in South Africa. And I can't remember I don't know what the rule is in cricket, because Alan Lamb actually had, and Kevin Peterson actually have South African accents, but played for England. So, oh, shot over the bar, Diamonde. Do you think we'll ever have a transfer window in international football? No, that would be preposterous. Andre, Kevin, Shani, Callum, thanks for your follows on TikTok. Appreciate you. Bring on Ahmad, says yeah, well, I'm hoping Ahmad comes on. Toby says the Australian national team only have 3 players born in Australia. Yeah, but they'll have parents, or you can't play for a national team without a connection. You know, your parents or your grandparents will have been born in that country. I think it's grandparents, isn't it? Because that's what Ireland used to do when Jack Charlton was in charge. I mean, I think it was your grandparents. Mez says less Qatar passports exist than Coventry residents. DJ says happy transfer window opening day. SC Dev says this game is a snoozer. Yeah, football's not for you, mate. You couldn't be more wrong. Just thinking there, it was a bit of a walkout, wasn't it? Imagine if that had been like a protest. You couldn't be more wrong. You criticised Ecuador against Ivory Coast, and I'm out. No, I just went to get myself a Vimto. Actually, that's not Vimto. That's bloody Mum's been to Aldi. That's Fruto. Oh my God! It's a hat trick for Denver Bar. They've hit the bloody bar again. This time it is Pepe for Ivory Coast. So Ecuador have hit the bar twice. And now, I mean, he's got to score there. I mean, this Pepe, no wonder he flopped. It's a delightful cross. And Pepe's missed it again. Do watch out for a red card, though. There are a few Ivory Coast yellow card players on yellow cards. If I put it up on the screen here. Yeah, they've got 3 players on a yellow card, right back and 2 midfielders. I don't think Ecuador have got anyone on a yellow card. Be hard to tell with yellow. Ivory Coast's last World Cup appearance was in 2014, says Mr. El Shamari. They've only qualified 4 times in their history and have never made it out the group stage. Therefore, I'm backing Ecuador. AB says the ref is very horrible and very one-sided. Apparently the time is wrong. That's because I've clicked the wrong bloody timer. I'm a prat. Give me 1 minute. We are in the 53rd minute here. And we've had 14, 15, 16. I refuse to have a 0-0 in this World Cup. There will be a goal. This game has to produce a goal. I've had too many chances. Ali says, I think Iraq can hold their own, I hope. And Bobby Archer says, the energy from these players is incredible. What's Fruto? It's basically Vimto, Aldi version. Michael Oliver isn't the referee. He got injured. The referee is European, but it's not Michael Oliver. 17 players born in Australia, says Sam. If you visit an Irish pub, you can play for Ireland, says Mr. Tomba. That's not true about the Australian team, says Sam. I'm predicting Ecuador to win. I think Senegal will give France a good game as well. I'm looking forward to that on Tuesday, actually, new camping man. What's the dream World Cup locations for you, says Ash. What? Like what? Where would I like the World Cup to be hosted? I've got to be honest. I'm pretty much living the dream. I loved... Hold on. Yeboah goes wide. Ecuador, cross, and a good bit of defending by Ivory Coast. I loved USA 94. England weren't in it. So to have a World Cup in North America with England in it is great. Obviously, I saw Brazil 2014 was, brilliant to have a World Cup in Brazil. I think we've had some good European ones. Italy, Germany, France. So I thought I enjoyed Japan and Korea as well. I thought that was a very good World Cup. I don't know whether it'd be possible. I mean, we had the South African World Cup, didn't we? Which I enjoyed as well. I think, you know what? I think I'd like to see a World Cup in England. I think a World Cup in England would be great. Or Argentina, as somebody said, would be good. Ahmad is on. Ahmad is on. Can he be the game changer? Bonnie is on as well. Is that the one who used to play for Swansea? Wilfried Bonney. 37 now. It is. Bloody hell. He used to play for Swansea in 2017. I mean, this is incredible. Is this Wilfried Bonney? No, it's not. I was going to say, because I was looking at Wilfried Bonney's it's Inter's Bonney. Yeah, God. It's nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. I saw Bonney on the shirt and I was like, is it Wilfried Bonney? And I was like, well, it can't be, can it? And it can't be because I think he retired in 2023. Although it could be. Ronaldo's playing at 41. 37, he's still young. But I don't think he's playing football anymore. So Diamonde has gone to the left-hand side, shoots over the bar. So Ahmad goes to the right-hand side, and Diamonde goes to the left-hand side, and Bonney goes up front. He's only 22. Bonney plays for Inter Milan. 5 goals in 33 games. Played all his international football for youth of France. Under 19s, under 20s, under 21s. Born in France, but of Ivorian descent. Yeah, I'm liking the shout-outs for Diamonde. Here's another cross. Ivory Coast are on top at the moment. The game has gone back and forth, but it's definitely Ivory Coast in the ascendancy here. United aren't in for Diamonde anymore. When Semenyo went to Man City, we instantly were looking at Diamonde, but I think it's the price again. We've definitely backed out. And it's a shame, because I think when you look at the profile of Semenyo, there are similarities with Diamonde, like athletic, strong winger. Their profiles are very similar. Very similar. I'd say Diamonde's probably got better potential. But United have pulled out of that one, unfortunately. Mark says, God bless you, Mark. Thank you very much, pal. Raf, thanks for the follow. And Molyneux Street and Nathan. USA have looked the best so far, says Alex. And World Cup in Scandinavia would be cool to see, says M. Shenning. Oh my God, how did that not go in? Shot through the crowded penalty box and it just ends up in the keeper's arms. Constantine says, the way Ivory Coast transition are the best I've seen. Nathan Stewart says, a China World Cup would be the dream. Big land mass, already has plenty of stadiums. One of the best public transports in the world. I need it. And Zach Howard, welcome to the Members Club. Derek says, we need a World Cup in Australia or New Zealand. Have they got the stadium? Mango Man says, I know you say you can't scout on a World Cup, but as a Liverpool supporter, I'm sold after 60 minutes. No, what I've said is you can't scout a player on the World Cup who you don't know anything about before a World Cup as a club. Diamonde's had a brilliant season for Leipzig. Everybody's looking at him before the World Cup. So enjoying him in the World Cup just verifies that scouting. So the problem is when you do what Liverpool did with Diouf and the centre-back you bought from Senegal in whatever year that was, or what Man United did with Karol Poborski in the Euros. You know, you actually scout them in the World Cup or they're in the Euros. What you need to do is know they're good players before the World Cup, and then if they do well in the World Cup, fair play. And trust me, Diamonde is a player that everybody was, you know, if there wasn't a World Cup, Liverpool would still want him. Gems, how are you doing, Gems? Hope you're doing well. One of our mods says, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Five Souls, thanks for your follow on TikTok. Let's have a quick stretch here. I've got a horrible feeling this game, as good as it's been, and you know the post and the missed chances, is going to be a bloody 0-0, which would be just so ironic because it's been probably, in my opinion, one of the best games we've had so far. Kieran says, I hope he stays at Leipzig for another year so United could have a chance at him. I mean, Leipzig do want him to stay. And they don't need to sell, and they're very good sellers. So if you want him, you're going to have to pay a lot of money for him. He's only had 1 year at Leipzig. But Liverpool have done it before, though. I think Darwin Núñez should have stayed another year at Benfica, but you've got to move when you've got to move, haven't you? Let me just talk you through some of the subs that we've had already. Obviously, Ahmad's on. So Bonnie and Ahmad are the only subs for them, but they have made 3 subs, Ecuador. Yaboa came off for Prashado, Aminda came off for Angulo, and Franco came off for Porozo. There is a 19-year-old lad called Pays who plays for Ecuador. You might be aware of him if you're a Chelsea fan. Because he actually, I think he signed for Chelsea in 2025. He's on the bench. He's been on loan at Strasbourg and River Plate. Nick P says, it's taken me a while for today's lookalike. I hope it's not me. But it's the Ivory Coast manager. It's Michael Bolton. Said I loved you, but I lied. I think you mean the Ecuador manager. The Ivory Coast manager doesn't look like Michael Bolton, mate. I think you mean the Ecuador manager. You think football is better now by allowing 5 subs? Yeah, I think you need to in the modern day. What do you think about the weekend being over? Well, it's not over, is it? I mean, I know. Look, it's a bit like. I feel like it's a bit like Christmas as a football fan. Like, it's going to be so weird when the World Cup's over, when you've had all these games going on at 3 or 4 or 5 games a day, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. It's going to be really weird when it's all over. But I know it's the start of the working week and school and college and exams and all that stuff. But work hits different when the World Cup's on. Stuff to look forward to. Sam says that Australia have got 2 stadiums that hold 80,000. Do you think they would still hold it here? I don't think we'll ever see a World Cup again where it's not a shared World Cup as well. Because you probably need about 20 stadiums, don't you? Good play by Bonnie. Get it to Ahmad. Get it to fucking Ahmad. First time ball to Ahmad. Fucking hell. Gets it eventually. Here's Ahmad. Go on, Ahmad. Go on, Ahmad. Go on, Ahmad. Go on, Ahmad. Oh, lovely play by Ahmad. Goes for a goal kick. If Liverpool don't move now, they risk Madrid, PSG, etc. going in the race next year. Chelsea did it with Enzo, and in my opinion, it hasn't gone wrong, says Brian Gallagher. Yeah, I think the minimum you will get out of Diamonde is Semenyo levels. The maximum you will get out of Diamonde is Yamal levels. So I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to be a top player. So if Liverpool are worried about the fee, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to be a top player. And if you're worried about his age, this is a World Cup and he's probably been the best player on the pitch. So he can deal with the pressure. So if you're undecided as a Liverpool fan, I'd be decided. Oh my Christ, what a shot. Straight at the keeper though. He really did grab hold of that. But it was straight at the keeper from Plata. If that had been anywhere near either corner, he wouldn't have saved that. Albert says, we're still having a World Cup in Saudi. That's not shared. Hydration break. Powerade hydration break. If you're in the stadium. Oh, God. That's true, actually. The Saudi World Cup will be 48 countries in Saudi. Presumably they're building a lot of stadiums there. I mean, I often think, like, in Qatar, what did they do with all those stadiums? Because they're all really close together as well. Azubaba, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Appreciate everyone who's tuning in on there as well. Jack says, Ecuador are getting a bit crikey here. And are you doing Sweden-Tunisia? I'm not. No, I'm not. I'll watch the highlights of that tomorrow. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way, on YouTube. Please do give us a follow. Thanks for everyone who's given us a follow on TikTok, like Joe and Benta. Appreciate you and Joey. If you're on YouTube, please do subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with us here on the road to 1.5 million. Click and subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, Michael Bolton is the Ecuador manager. Look-alike. I tell you what, if he permed that hair and grew it out, he would look like Michael Bolton. I completely agree, Nick. So 20 minutes to go, 0-0. We could be getting our first 0-0 here. We don't want 0-0s in the World Cup. Joe says, what's your opinion on ref cam? I don't get it. Some people really like it, so I don't get it. I think the technology is shit. I think it bounces around. Most of the time it looks absolutely pants. I think it can work, but I don't think the technology's there for it, really. It's been a good 0-0. Yeah, I just don't like 0-0s. I don't dislike this game. I'm just saying I do like that Ecuador kit. Is it black and gold, or is it like a navy and gold? Brian says, do you think Sweden will be able to play Isak and Gyökeres? We'll be able to tell you in a minute because the team news will be out, I think. It does tend to come out about an hour and a quarter before. Where's that game being played? Mexico. Lewis says Oliver Tree is dead. Yeah, very sad news that. I know I was talking about it on, was it the United stand or? Yeah, a lot of people upset about that. Very sad. Life is fragile. You never know what's tomorrow, so enjoy today. Corner here to Ecuador. Thoughts on the Australia win, says Henry. I think, look, I predicted a draw, and there's very few teams in this World Cup that shouldn't be competitive. I think there's a few, Curacao. But, excuse me, not too bad. Your first yawn at 140. But Turkey, there's just something about Turkey, isn't there? They come into tournaments with big hopes and dark horse talks, and then they just don't deliver. Yawns are contagious, Gems. They are. I'm not watching the Sweden game. A lot of people asking about that. No. Kieran's got his GCSEs tomorrow. I presume it finishes on Tuesday, because my daughter's been doing hers, and I'm pretty sure she's got the last one on Tuesday. Do you think Bruno will break the assist record next season's history? Obviously. No. Well, that was a very impressive record to break, so I don't think he's going to go and break it the next season. Nice ball into the channel. Bonnie for Ivory Coast. Lays it off. Oh, good defending. Good defending. I mean, they're looking for a handball for the slip, but nah, not really much of a claim there. Australian keeper saved 4 big saves and 8 on target, says Sam. And Rick says, fun fact, I went to the very first sporting event in this stadium. It was a Man United Summer Tour game against Barcelona. I was claiming a back pass, says Dylan, not a handball. Sweden lineup is out. Gyökeres and Isak start with Lindelof at the back, and Alanga's on the bench with Bergvall. I'm surprised Bergvall doesn't start for Sweden. Bloody hell. I think he's a fantastic player. Ayari of Brighton is starting in the midfield with Karlström. Hannibal Mabry starts for Tunisia, as does Kadira, who also plays in the Bundesliga. I reckon that'll be a score draw, I do. Ashley and Jordan and Jim Lee, thank you very much for your follows on TikTok. Sweden does have a strong squad, says Dougie. Couple of more subs coming on here. Sangari of Nottingham Forest, he's coming on. That's the second yawn. They're starting to come in now, aren't they? You know what's prompting the yawns? I'm very concerned that this is going to end up. Well, I'm not very concerned. I just think we've had so many good chances. It's going to be a goal. Kat says you're on Solihull College Wall of Fame. I can't be. I'm not. Why would I be? I never went there. Who do I want to win? Oh, I don't. That's the great thing about the World Cup. I'm not at that stage where there's teams I want to win or lose. I just want to appreciate it. Kulusevski's obviously Swedish, yes, Vincent, but and the guy's been out injured for over a year. I mean, you've got to look at his whole career and say, will he play again? Hamza says, if it expanded to 48 teams, what are your thoughts? Wake up, mate. It already has. Squid says, best and worst stadium so far. Well, everyone can answer that because I know what I think, but history says there's a huge card in the UFC tonight. Why would they have why would UFC do a card on a Sunday night? Surely you'd do it on a Saturday. I don't watch UFC now. What's so good about tonight's card and why is it on a Sunday? Mr. El Shamari says, I think Ecuador are going to win it at the end. It's been a strange game. I don't think you could argue with either team winning it, and a draw is probably the right result. They've both had good chances, but maybe that's the problem of both teams putting the ball in the back of the net. It's because it's at the White House and it's Trump's birthday. Right. That does make sense. Has your son got better at making cups of tea, says Smoddy? I haven't had one for a long time. Who was your first pick for Dark Horse? A lot of people said Ecuador, but I don't see it. Switzerland looked good. What, Switzerland drew with Qatar? I mean, they could get better, Brian. My dark horse is Japan. Most people think Norway, I think. Tony says, Australia had really good tactics, to be fair. Anti-football, but 3 points is 3 points. Hey, I'm never going to knock the old... if you watch my Baller League team, it was the only way we could win with what we were given. I still can't believe we've got 3 clean sheets in Baller League. I mean, that's just incredible. Harry says Senegal as a dark. Well, we've got that to watch on Tuesday night, 8 p.m. France, Senegal. Kessie and Caicedo. There. Which of the typical top teams do you think will flop and who do you think are likely to excel, says Ray. I've said I think Brazil aren't going to be as good as people think they are. And I'm hopeful that from all these teams we're talking about, Ecuador, Ivory Coast, Morocco, Austria, Japan, Norway, I'm hopeful that a few of them actually do deliver and go into the latter stages. I mean, look, the biggest dark horse of the lot is England winning it. I don't know why. Every World Cup, we always have good odds, but we've not won it since '66. Jeff says, can you watch the ice hockey potential last game? I don't think we can watch the ice hockey in the UK. Albert says both teams are lacking a quality striker. Yeah, imagine this Ivory Coast team with prime Didier Drogba. Omar says, I'm being biased, but Egypt will win tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of people are talking about Egypt, but again, they're another decent African side. I mean, look, I think maybe people go, well, Salah's not the player he was, but there are other players than Salah. Denise says, this game is disappointing me now. I'm a little bit frustrated that we didn't get a goal. You know, lovely play by Diamonde. And that's going to go wide. Goal kick. We're going to get 0-0s in the tournament. We are going to get 0-0s, but it would be nice to avoid one for as long as possible. Yeah, I do. Well, I said before the game, Diamonde and Toure were my two players to watch. And Diamonde, for me, I think has been the best player on the pitch. Trull says, worst game of the tournament? No, I don't. I think if you know football, it's not been the worst game of the tournament. There's been some really good football, and you know the bar's been hit 3 times. Sure. Sporting, isn't it? Yeah. Where's is he on the bench? Oh no, I'm on the wrong page. Don't worry. Don't worry. I can answer my own question here. Yeah, I was going to mention, like, shout out to Ivory Coast centre-backs, because Diamonde of Sporting, who is a very good centre-back, is on the bench for Ivory Coast. Still only 22. So the clock's ticking down here. Just looking there, the centre-backs who are playing for Ivory Coast, Singo and Agbadou, both play in Turkey. One at Galatasaray and one Besiktas. But I would have expected Diamonde of Sporting to be starting, but they've got good players, Ivory Coast. Free kick here. Thoughts on Musk being the first trillionaire, says Karan. How much is a trillion? I mean, it's, you know, it's crazy money, isn't it? For a minute, Karen, I read it. Thoughts on Mark being the first trillionaire. I was like, what's gone? What? I love it. What's happened there? This game has been all sizzle and no bacon. I think if we're being honest with ourselves, the first hour or so, it was a good game. the last 20 minutes. I think they're both scared to lose. But Mr. Al-Shamari did say Ecuador will pinch it at the end, and they do have a chance to whip across in here by Caicedo. For a minute there. I think this will be a corner because Ecuador are absolutely convinced it's a corner, and it is. You should do a video on the best World Cup 11, says Brian. No, we should do that at the end of when we've had everybody play. Jordan says, I think 1 trillion is 100,000 million. It's $1 billion 1,000 times. Fucking hell. And Dawu says, why can't the Premier League get quality referees like this? I don't think it's about the referees per se. I think it's about another night game here, by the way, as well. It's got dark. I think it's about the direction. Like, FIFA have definitely said to them. Oh, Ahmad didn't want that. FIFA have definitely said to them. He's loving it there. Yeah, FIFA have definitely said to them, we want the games to flow, we want to get the game going, and they've all followed that directive. The Premier League need to do the same. $88 minutes, another substitution. I mean, my takeaway from this game is that it'd be very interesting to see these two teams play against Germany. I think we'll really understand about how good they are then. They've sort of cancelled each other out in a progressive way. But I'd be worried about these two teams in front of goal. Defensively, obviously a clean sheet's very good, but how much is that down to some bad finishing, really? Technically, I think they're quite good. They're both very energetic, and they both move the ball around a lot. But I can't see them going deep in the tournament if they're not going to put the ball in the back of the net. World Cup football annoys me so much. There is no drive to win after 70 minutes. People just settle for draws. I think that's a very good point, Daffy. Especially in the group stage. You know, we've seen it in the last 20 minutes here. If a chance comes, we'll take it, but we're not going to go pushing for it, because if you push for it and lose, you're on 0 points, aren't you? So, lovely feat here by... I don't know who this is. I think it's the centre-back. Crosses it in. Ahmad! Goal! Get the fuck in! Get the fuck in! Ahmad! Get in! Get in! Brilliant! What a finish by Ahmad. We were just talking about finishing. What a goal. Ahmad, Ivory Coast, 1-0, right at the end. That's going to win the game. And it was a brilliant run. Who was that? Was that Singo, the centre-back, running down the wing? I don't know. I think it was the centre-back. It was an amazing run. But Ahmad takes it first time. A little bit like Toure took it first time in the first half, and the keeper made a great save. But he can't save that one. And it's Ahmad, the United lad, who makes it 1-0, and Ecuador can't believe it. They're devastated there. I suppose that's the problem with having integration of fans, isn't it? Because I tell you what, if I was sat in that, and lovely finish by Ahmad. It was the number 5 who was bursting forward. It was Singo. I was right. The person running down the wing was the bloody centre-back. He deserves a medal. Incredible. Singo, the centre-back, was running down the wing like bloody Diamonde. Puts a lovely cross in, and Ahmad puts it in the bottom corner. What an end to the game. I'll tell you what, and it's not going to be a 0-0 either. We deserve a goal. The game deserves a goal. There's been a lot of good football in this game. Last 20 minutes have been a bit shit, but first half, both teams played really, really well. And David says, haha, that timing. I still fully back my statement, says David. Ahmad says, just pasty. He's from the Ivory Coast. His name is Ahmad, says it's Nick A. And I stand corrected. Getting Ahmad, says Rudolph the Red. Thank you very much for that. 7 minutes added on. Well, remember, Ecuador haven't been beaten in 19 games. It was a great finish by Ahmad, but you've got to give huge credit to the centre-back running down the wing like bloody Mo Salah. It was incredible. Look, things are looking good. I mean, look, Ivory Coast, they're going to have to do some work, aren't they? Sorry, Ecuador are going to have to do some work. They'll get through. But with Germany to come, they might only be able to get 3 points with the win against Curacao if they can do that. So Ecuador... But for Ivory Coast... You know, they'd be looking at getting... Well, they'll be... I tell you what, if Ivory Coast win this, they're going to get out the group stage for the first time in their history because they're not going to not beat Curacao and they'll have 6 points. Germany play Ivory Coast at 9 o'clock on Saturday. Ecuador play in the early hours of Sunday morning at 1 o'clock against Curacao. I'm chuffed with that. 1, it's Ahmad. 2, it's a late goal. And 3, we don't get a 0-0. Well, it's Ivory Coast on the attack again here. Still got about 3 minutes to go. I think, to be honest, Ecuador first half probably just about shaded it. But second half, I think Ivory Coast have been slightly better. Be a corner to Ecuador here. Thanks for the follow, Fred and Raju. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Chris says, Ahmad, our very own Red. Thank you, Chris. Lamine Singo. It was brilliant. It was like Harry Maguire running down the wing. Nearly 10,000 watching at 2 a.m. as well. What a community we have built. Make sure you're subscribing if you're on YouTube. Another 3 watch-alongs tonight. Still a minute and a half left, and Ecuador have a corner. It's a good corner. It's good defending by Ivory Coast, and they'll break away with Ahmad. And can he get Diamonde in? It's a lovely switch of the play. I tell you what, Diamonde. Nah, good defending. And Diamonde will still keep it. Maguire, the winger, passed his own powers to that centre-back, says Chris. Fantastic strike now. Hurry up and list him, says City of Northville. Minute to go. Well, as I say, thank you everybody for all your company over the 3 watch-alongs we've done in the World Cup this evening, going into the early morning. We're back at 5 o'clock tomorrow for Spain's first game. Then we've got Belgium, Egypt at 8 and Uruguay, Saudi Arabia at 11. I'll be back on the United Stand at 10 a.m. tomorrow. There is an evening show if you've not watched that. But as always, really appreciate everybody getting involved. I mean, a lovely play by Ahmad down the wing here. The games have flowed really, really well anyway, but having all you lot getting involved with your conversation has been fantastic. And that shot's wild over the bar, but there's only 10 seconds to go. So we're not going to get a late equaliser here like we did in the Japan-Netherlands game. And loads of Ecuadorians here as well. But it's looking like a bit of a disappointment for them. They will, I'm sure they'll beat Curacao, and I'm sure they'll be able to get through in third. But look, feedback on Ecuador is corner. Feedback on Ecuador is, when you look at the game as a whole, missed chances. Valencia had an amazing chance in the first 10 minutes. The was it Mingo who hit the bar from close range? They had chances. They had chances. They didn't take them. And to be fair, Ivory Coast had chances as well. This is going to be the last kick of the game, surely. Caicedo on a corner. So look, I'm looking forward to that. Ivory Coast against Germany on Saturday night. Ecuador with the corner. It's a good corner. And he's blown the whistle. And it's a win for Ivory Coast. I think. Yes, he's blown the whistle. Ahmad is the winner. Ivory Coast are the winner. We are the winner. No 0-0. And a very exciting end. And I tell you what, we are getting a lot of late goals in this World Cup as well, aren't we? You know, Japan did it today, Ivory Coast did it there, Qatar did it. So, I mean, again, look, another good day in this World Cup, and another fantastic stadium, atmosphere. This World Cup does feel special. I don't know why. It just feels really atmospheric. We're living in this bubble, and long may it continue. But I will look forward to Ivory Coast against Germany on Saturday night and see how this very impressive Ivory Coast team does against Germany. For Ecuador, it's not the end of the road. I'm sure they'll beat Curacao and then set themselves up with a chance against Germany. But if they don't put the ball in the back of the net, they're going to struggle, aren't they? And I'll guarantee 3 teams will go through from this group because their goal difference is going to be massive with 3 points. So they should be okay. But blow for Ecuador, brilliant for Ivory Coast, and lovely to see Ahmad scoring as well. Thanks for all the follows on TikTok, you legends. Thank you everybody on YouTube as well. Please do click and subscribe on the bottom right hand corner because we're trying to get up to 1.5 million during this World Cup. So thank you everybody for getting involved, and we will be back. I'll probably upload a video tomorrow, but we will be back live with our next World Cup game at 5 p.m. UK time tomorrow for Spain, Cape Verde. Speak to you all in a bit. Take care. Stay safe. Thanks for watching.